Good afternoon, everybody. Big Mike back here with you once again. Welcome back to Big Mike Talks, where today I'm going to go over the week that was in pro wrestling. And for this week, that includes Monday Night Raw, NWA Power, and TNA Wrestling. Reason no AEW Dynamite is because I was having a little celebration with someone in my family. So I didn't end up watching Dynamite, so I will skip it this week. And probably end up going back to it next week. So, that is that. I hope you're all enjoying the WrestleMania week, because it's definitely been crazy. So, let's start off with Monday Night Raw. We start off a promo from The Rock. Because, of course, we do. It goes over how he made Cody bleed, how he hurt Cody for taking his spot. And he did take the blood from Cody, wiped it on the belt he was going to give to Mama Rhodes. And he brought up how the Cody crybabies didn't like that. And then he's pretty much, I laughed at all the adults crying over Cody Rhodes. However, the reaction that stopped me in my tracks were these. Showing footage of a couple of kids reacting to, The Rock beating the heck out of Cody. Then he goes over, look, hold on. I have kids myself at home, and seeing stuff like this breaks my heart. So, The Rock's gonna drop the gospel on you. There's moments in life where a man's gotta do what a man's gotta do. Cody was talking all that bull, and The Rock beat him down. And what you're feeling right now, it's because wrestling is cool for a minute, cool again, and the reason is because I'm here. And just because I'm here didn't mean I come alone. Out comes Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, Jimmy Uso, and Paul Heyman, aka The Bloodline. Then Rock pointed out Bloodline shirts, saying that it's family above all. Came out here to acknowledge my family. Then the crowd starts chanting, yeet, yeet, for Jay, who's not out there yet. And then Roman pipes up, look, if you're going to continue with that nonsense, I'm going to leave. I'm here to put my family over. I'm going to thank my cousin, because this is going to be the easiest WrestleMania of my life. Gonna smash it in the tag team match. And then on Sunday, in Bloodline Rules, we're gonna have our way with Cody. Y'all went above and beyond. You made that boy bleed. And it felt good to see him do it. Thank you again. Once again, you put family above all. Cody isn't a fit for this. Cody, you had your fun. But you're not family, and you can never be on top. And on Sunday, it never... At that point, Seth Rollins' music hits. Instead of coming from the stage, he comes out of the crowd. He kind of stays up in the people, pretty much saying, look, I know your tactics, which is why I'm out here instead of down there beating you down. Now, if you want the same whooping, you're going to come up here and come get me. And last week, you crossed the line, and I'm ready for a fight tonight. So here's what I'm thinking. Y'all in Brooklyn deserve the biggest main event Raw's ever seen. So you all think they're here because of you? How about you put your money where your mouth is? How about we do Seth versus Rock? In which that got the crowd going. Then Seth continues, like, obviously he doesn't have the balls to do it. How about you, Roman? Why don't you come up and grow a set? Who wants to fight the real champ? You can even pick your stipulation. Who has the balls? Then The Rock picks up the microphone again. You'll come out here and challenge us. Don't you see what I did to Cody? You don't want none of it not fighting us. You're not fighting me. You're not fighting Roman. But you're a tough, crazy SOB. And we always have a plan. Then Solo Sikoa steps forward. Pretty much says, you aren't fighting Roman or Rock. You're fighting me tonight. Seth then continues. Turns out Solo has the biggest balls in the bloodline. You're on. Then Rock, for the last time, pretty much says, now before we go any further, tonight we're going to have a preview of what could be night 2 of WrestleMania. It's going to be Bloodline Rules. See you tonight. So, I'm a little disappointed they teased Rock and Seth and then Roman Seth, because those are matches I'd like to see. No offense to Solo. I like Solo. He's a good heavy. He needs to break out already. Like, I feel like the bloodline is holding him back. He's way more than just a silent killer. He needs maybe not even to turn face. Maybe he's the first, real challenge for Cody post-WrestleMania. But this, I don't know. This is a little weird. We then cut to the Rhea Ripley interview with Ariel Helwani on his MMA Hour, talking about WrestleMania. And then Becky Lynch calls Ariel Helwani, pretty much saying, look, I'm right outside. I'm ready to go. Let's do this. She then comes in. She and Rhea Ripley have a little argument at first, and then they just start brawling. I like this. This adds a bit of realism to these fights. Like, it's something that's kind of been missing from not just WWE, but pro wrestling in a while. It's not so overproduced. It's just two people sitting in a room, having a talk, and then the opponent comes in and beats them down. That's something I feel like has been missing from wrestling for a while. So kudos to WWE. We then go backstage for a Becky Lynch interview, saying, I'm here tonight to finish what I started on the MMA Hour, and if Rhea's here, she'll answer my call. Walks off. So, nice easy little interview from Becky Lynch, getting ready for a big match at WrestleMania. We then get an 8-man tag team match playa as Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods team with Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano of DIY to take on Damian Priest, Finn Balor, JD McDonough, and Dominic Mysterio of the Judgment Day. And while it was a nice little back and forth, it did feel like it was being sped up a little bit. Like, maybe they didn't want these guys out here a whole lot because they all have matches for WrestleMania. But overall, I think they did a pretty dang good job telling a story here. With Damian Priest picking up the win for Judgment Day with a Razor's Edge. We then see the Bloodline as a whole backstage, where it's revealed Roman Reigns is going to induct Paul Heyman into the WWE Hall of Fame. That makes sense to me, especially with Brock unavailable right now due to, allegations for now. So then we get something pretty goddamn interesting. We get some footage of Sami Zayn and Chad Gable training at the WWE Performance Center. You kind of have Sami, starting to give up a little bit, and Chad Gable comes in and it's like, look, we obviously got to talk. You got something on your mind. And then Sami's like, look, I just don't want to let people down. I don't want to be the man to beat Gunther. And I remember the look on your child's face when you lost. So then Gable's like, alright, now that you got this off your chest, let's keep going. And they do, and it looks like Sami Zayn's getting it a little. I loved this. This was a great little moment for not only Sami, but for Chad Gable as well. Going into that big match. Only thing I'll say about it is that I kind of wish we got more. Like, maybe they start training a few weeks ago and maybe end it on the Philadelphia Public Library steps, aka the Rocky Steps. I think that would have been a nice little moment and get the people who weren't exactly happy with Sami Zayn winning the gauntlet match back on his side. And honestly, just more of that. That was awesome. We then get Judgment Day. They're all backstage. Asking Rhea if she's good. She says, yeah, I'm going to go take care of Becky. Then in comes Santos Escobar and Legado del Fantasma, in which Dom introduces. Then Priest kind of takes him aside and says, look, we know you want to beat your father, but this is getting a little ridiculous. They really shouldn't be back here. And then Dom's like, don't worry about it. They'll be out of here in no time. So then they start playing darts with Santos Escobar like 10 inches away. Like, I know there's probably not so much room back there in the clubhouse, but, yeah, I that was a little awkward. So, next up, we got a little rematch from a few weeks ago, as it's Sami Zayn versus Bronson Reed. And, honestly, this was a really, really good matchup, with Reed and Sami trading blows for a bit. Reed takes over, goes for a tsunami, misses. He gets up, and then out comes Gunther, who is just dragging Chad Gable by his foot and tossing him ringside. Sami Zayn then comes out, checks on Chad Gable. Big old boot from Gunther. Attacks him, throws him to the Titantron, hits him with a couple of chops. And then Gunther's standing over Sami with the title. As Gunther is leaving, Sami Zayn struggles back to his feet. But then Gunther hits him with the Intercontinental title and then walks off. So I guess that means that match was thrown out, which I'm a little disappointed by. But I can understand being this close to WrestleMania. We then get Jey Uso. He's walking backstage. He runs into Lil Wayne, of all people, who's saying he's going to have a performance at WrestleMania. Which, alright, that's pretty cool. We then get a full announcement for the lineup for the Hall of Fame, which includes Paul Heyman, the U.S. Express, God, I forget who else is in there, but it's a pretty stacked little lineup for the Hall of Fame. We then get this weird little match, and it's a tag team match. Player as Maxine Dupri and Ivy Nile take on Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae still doing her heel shtick with both Maxine and Ivy. Match comes to an end with what looks like Indy Hartwell trying for a tag, but Candice LeRae wouldn't tag her in. She eats a dropkick from Maxine, who then gets a roll-up on her for the 1-2-3 for the win for her team. Yeah, that was... Match itself was okay. Wish there was a little bit more time for them, but I understand. So then we see Seth. He is backstage. He's walking around. Jey Uso comes in. Pretty much says, look, I saw what you did for me last week. I appreciate you and Cody. This week, I got your back like you got mine. So then we cut to, in the ring, it is a Drew McIntyre promo. No, it's not an in-ring promo. It is a kind of vignette promo where he's in a funeral home. And apparently it's the same funeral home from the Aces and Eights TNA funeral, which is honestly kind of neat. With Drew pretty much saying, calling out CM Punk's lack of a presence on WrestleMania, although he's going to be on commentary. He then turns to Seth Rollins saying, Seth, you're broken. You got one foot in the grave. You deserve that beating coming your way. I'm going to take that broken, rundown horse and put him down once and for all. Dang. Drew McIntyre is doing some of his best work nowadays. I hope he re-signs with WWE. He's been doing great. And honestly, he deserves the world title. Anyway, next matchup, we got Ricochet versus Ivar of the Viking Raiders. And this match, it does feel like they let Ricochet's leash off a little bit. Because he was flying around the ring like he did before he signed with WWE. Although maybe not as flippy, if that makes any sense. Near the end, Ivar goes for a splash. Ricochet catches it, hits a fallaway slam, goes up, hits the 450 for the win. So, nice big win for Ricochet. Little sad he's not really doing anything for WrestleMania, although he's going to be in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal tonight. Hopefully we get to see him on the WrestleMania card proper one day. So we got cut to the back. We got Judgment Day, Legado del Fantasma. They're coexisting with Finn Balor pretty much saying, look, I cannot understand why this Ricochet problem hasn't been handled yet. I'm sick and tired of it. What? We could always have JD handle it. But then Dom reveals, look, just in case we can't handle it, I got a man for a job, and then walks Andrade. With Dom saying to him, look, if you can take care of Ricochet and the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, next week we'll make you a full-time member of Judgment Day. And then Andrade thinks about it for a minute, shakes Dom's hand. Here's what I'm kind of thinking is going down for Judgment Day. I think post-WrestleMania, we're going to have a breakup, and then Dom's going to lead his own group. And it's going to be Andrade, it's going to be Santos, maybe throw Dragon Lee in there. Because I feel like it could be a very interesting group. And, yeah, we'll see. So next up, we got a Becky Lynch promo saying, I didn't come here just to talk, I came here for a fight. And Rhea, we don't have to wait for WrestleMania. We've done enough talking. This brings out Adam Pearce, the GM of Raw, along with security, who's saying, look, Becky, we're not doing this tonight. I won't have this big match for WrestleMania jeopardized. I need you to leave. And before Becky can leave, out comes Rhea Ripley, who's just... Initially, she stops thanks to Adam Pearce, but then she just starts fighting through the security guards, gets to Becky, and they just go at it like some old rivals. Security initially breaks it up. You have Rhea on the outside, Becky in the ring, Becky with a big old dive to the outside. They're still brawling a bit, and then security finally breaks them up and gets them to calm down. Which, wow, that was a great little brawl, and something I think this feud needed desperately. We then cut to a backstage promo from Damage Control with Dakota Kai pretty much saying, look, Damage Control is the most dominant women's faction in WWE. At WrestleMania, we're going to prove we're the best. And we're going to take that momentum past WrestleMania. Then we see a little bit more of the brawl continuing with Becky and Rhea. Eventually, we have Dom Mysterio holding Rhea back, with Adam Pearce saying, handle your mommy. Which, hearing that out of Adam Pearce, that was funny. We then get this very, very strange six-man tag team match, as it's Dakota Kai, Asuka and Kairi Sane of Damage Control taking on Tegan Nox, Shayna Baszler, and Zoe Stark. Now, if you don't know, Nox and Dakota Kai actually do have pretty long history, actually. They were a tag team down in NXT, Team Kick. Always love those two. And then Dakota turned on Tegan Nox during War Games. I think it was the first women's one, which that was interesting. Tegan has definitely been out with injury for a while, so it's good to see her back. And, this was pretty much, let's get everyone to have their stuff in. Face team definitely tries to fight back, but eventually Damage Control take the wheel, with Kairi Sane and Asuka hitting the insane elbow / reverse DDT move they do, in which that needs a new name. Like, that combination needs a name. To pick up the win for Damage Control. And finally, we get revealed the WrestleMania rundown, and we get, every match for night 1 and night 2. Besides maybe a mystery match that's been teased. I don't know what's going on with that. So, we're all set for WrestleMania. We then do one last Seth Rollins interview backstage. He's saying, look, I've only got one gear. It's pedal to the metal all the way. And if that doesn't work, I've always got a plan B. Then Seth walks off. He runs into Drew McIntyre, who's chilling on some boxes. He turns to Drew, says, I ain't dead yet. And walks off with Drew yelling, yet! In which I think something's going to go down for WrestleMania. Like, I got a weird feeling that match isn't going to last long. Which may not be the worst thing in the world. We then go for our Raw main event of the evening, and it's Bloodline Rules as Seth Rollins take on Solo Sikoa. Now, I hear what you're asking. What the heck is Bloodline Rules? It's every no DQ stipulation you can think of. They brought in chairs, they got tables. Didn't bring out thumbtacks, but I think that's because they banned in WWE, I think. They hit everything at one another. And then Jimmy comes out near the end. And he's looking to get involved. And this brings out Jey Uso. He and Jimmy brawl up the ramp. They go one step into the back. And then you see Jey come out from the back as he got attacked by The Rock. And he continues the attack on Jey Uso. Rock then heads for the ring, gets in, he's face to face with Seth, who's just smiling, gives us a big enough wink. Out comes Cody Rhodes, he's all taped up. He and Rock then get into a little bit of a brawl. Looks like Seth and Cody are about to put The Rock through an announce table. Then out comes Roman Reigns, who comes out from under the ring and brawls with Seth, takes out both Seth and Cody. They get back into the ring. Rock picks up Seth. Superman punch. Spear to Cody. Then Roman takes off his weight belt and just decides to smack both of them with it. Which, that's... oof. He then hands it off to Roman, who starts whipping the both of them. Seth tries to fight back, but then Roman gets Seth in the guillotine with Rock giving more whips. Rock then rips the back of the Cody shirt and continues with the belt shots. So it does look like that's a no contest. So a little bit disappointing, but I can understand why. Now, I've been seeing a little rumors that might be the finish for night 1 for WrestleMania. I really hope not. Like, there should be a clear winner and a loser. And for me personally, give me Rock Roman winning that match. Because then, Bloodline rules, you can have it be the most chaotic match maybe in wrestling history. I'm down. Overall, a very middle-of-the-road Raw. Like, it wasn't bad. I do wish there was a little bit more wrestling, but overall, the stories are driven to almost their crescendo. They're ready for Saturday and Sunday. Let's do it. So now we are in it for NWA Power, and we get one of the last qualifying matches for the NWA national title, as Tom Latimer takes on Carson Drake. And at first, Carson Drake runs around the ring, tries to play keep away with Tom Latimer. He gets some good stuff in, but ultimately, this is the Tom Latimer show, finishing with a brighter side of suffering into a crossface for the win and to qualify. So, nice little match to start it off. Carson Drake, I'm interested to see what he has in the future. Next up, a bit of a random match, but I can dig it. It's the Kids who are making their in-ring debut, taking on the Slime Balls. And yeah, this was a pretty darn good matchup. It felt a little bit more current era wrestling, but also with some classic tag team action. Everyone pretty much got their stuff in, although Mr. Rant, always getting overpowered, succumbing to the atomic drop into a big boot for the win for the Kids. Definitely my first time seeing these two. Maybe they've had some other matches in NWA that I've missed. If I have, please let me know. But overall, I'm pretty impressed. We then go to a backstage interview with Mr. Joe Alonzo. Pretty much saying, look, we've got all these quote-unquote rising stars here in the NWA. But the real one and only rising star, it's me, Mr. NWA, Joe Alonzo. The rest of you are just a waste of time. Then in comes a very interesting pair. It's Daisy Kill and Talos, with Daisy Kill coming in from the front, in front of Joe Alonzo, and Talos coming in from behind, telling Joe, "You can go now." He runs off, with Daisy Kill pretty much saying, "Look, me and the big man, we're obviously going to get our U.S. tag team titles back, but we're not stopping there. We're going to come for every title here in the NWA. And it's about time the NWA become big time." Then we get a nice little kind of ringside interview from Natalia Markova and Vampiro. I'll tell you why that's interesting in a second. We start with Markova pretty much saying, "Look, I did everything I needed to do to get back to the title. Kenzie, I was this close from taking this from you, from the title from you. Go back and watch. I'm going to do everything in my power to get that title." Then Vampiro pipes up, pretty much saying, "It's time to forget about respect, forget about the rules, about earning my place. I've been having a hard time fitting in here in the NWA. I got some dark friends in not only dark places, but some light places. And I'm tired of people stealing from me. And while you're looking to get to the top, I can help you real quick for a price," as he turns to Markova. So are we getting a Markova-Vampiro alliance? That could be interesting. Next up, we got Joe Alonzo taking on Mo Jabari. Mo and Joe Alonzo have had a couple of matches in the NWA before, but this one was easily their best. Mo Jabari getting a whole lot of offense in, but eventually Joe Alonzo gets back into it, wins via the clothesline, which is very interesting for a finisher. And yeah, it seems like he's pretty much ready for his junior heavyweight title match at Hard Times. And we go to our main event of the evening. It's a 6-man tag team match as Mike Knox, Trevor Murdoch, and Eric Smalls, who is very impressive, take on Slade, Rush, and Rolando Friedman of the Spectaculars. Sorry, the new Spectaculars 2.0. Whatever you want to call them. And before the bell, the Spectaculars jump the faces. Eventually we get Rush and Knox starting it off. And yeah, Mike Knox is just a big old powerhouse. Like, there was a reason I liked Mike Knox in the WWE. He was fantastic. A lot of quick tags from the Spectaculars, get a little offense in. Eventually, Knox did tag out to Murdoch, who definitely got some stuff in. Eventually tags in Smalls, who gets overpowered a bit from Rolando. That brings in Murdoch and Rush. Couple of clotheslines, couple of power bombs, a high-low, a double high-low actually. This brings in Smalls for a wee moonsault, actually a pretty impressive moonsault, to pick up the win for their team. Post-match, Rolando Friedman goes to attack Smalls. He's pretty much surrounded on all sides. Knox and Murdoch then hold Rolando Friedman from a kick low blow from Eric Smalls. A very interesting matchup from these guys. I'm definitely interested to see what else Mr. Smalls brings to the table, because he's pretty entertaining. Alright, and fine Alamo, we got our main show of the evening, and it's TNA. And we start off with an old school rules match, meaning it's no DQ, as Mustafa Ali takes on ECW original Rhino. Now, obviously for now it's non-title, and of course it's in the ECW arena, which Rhino did frequent for a good time. This was pretty much the big plunder match, getting chairs, cookie sheets, got a table. Ali gets his PWI cover poster board. Eventually Rhino rips that up. And actually, there was a hockey player there from Philly. I forget the dude's name. I do apologize. He's there promoting his book. Ali takes his book and tosses it into an open trash can, which that pops me pretty good. Then Rhino takes it out, gives it to the hockey player. Rhino, actually Ali missing on a gore into a trash can in the corner. Rhino then sets a table. Ali fights back for a bit. Rhino with a gore, not through the table. However, before Rhino can get a pinfall, Mustafa Ali's Secret Service guards get in, stop Rhino. Rhino fights them off for a bit. Ali is up. Rhino goes through a gore, misses through the table. Then your winner with the roll-up, Mustafa Ali. And as Ali's celebrating, he's going backwards up the ramp. Jake Something's music hits. He comes out. He grabs Ali by the back of the hair. Throws him back into the ring. Ali misses with his title belt shot. Jake Something goes for a powerbomb. But once again, Ali's Secret Service come out. Stops Jake Something. So Ali can roll out and go up the ramp. And then Jake Something with a nasty looking powerbomb to the security guard. And dang, that was a nasty looking powerbomb. I'm definitely interested to see what happens there. We then get certain interviews with certain wrestlers throughout the night on our main event, which is Shelley versus Nick Nemeth, being billed as a generational match, in which I do agree. We then get a Hammerstone ringside interview, pretty much saying, look, why should I be afraid of Josh Alexander? I'm bigger than him, I'm stronger than him, I'm better than him. Heck, I got really no reason to wrestle Josh Alexander. So Josh, you keep running your mouth. It's obvious you don't call the shots around here, but I'm going to give you one. I'm going to make this fight happen. Your pain will be greater than anything you've ever felt in your life. And this match will happen on my time at Rebellion. So then post-match, cameraman, I guess, gets kind of close to Hammerstone. Hammerstone takes the camera, kind of tosses it to the side. Then he kind of tosses the cameraman to the side. Then he puts on Alex Hammerstone's head ear guard, I guess it's called. And then he's like to the camera, look, it's Josh Alexander. And gets him up in a torture rack, which, man, that was impressive. Hammerstone to TNA was such a great signing. I'm hyped to see what he does in the future. He could be a legitimate world champion soon. Then we get an in-ring promo from the Rascals, kind of hyping up the building of the ECW arena, but putting down the people who walked through it, saying there hasn't been a lot of stars, but now you can go ahead and brag. You've seen the greatest tag team in the world. Now bring out our opponents. We don't care who it is. And out comes Little Guido Maritano. We got Ray Jazz making his TNA debut. he and Nunzio teamed together in MLW as the FBI, and they're joined by someone kind of interesting, someone I didn't realize was a free agent, the Reality Zach Clayton. Last time I saw this dude, I think was on Ring of Honor, like more than a couple weeks ago. I didn't realize he was a free agent, so that's kind of a cool big signing. Nunzio hyping up his boys. And yeah, we get our match. The Rascals taking on the full-blooded Italians. And I'm going to say that I've missed seeing Ray Jazz wrestle. Is he the most dynamic? No, but he's a pretty entertaining wrestler. Zach Clayton, I'll say this without sounding mean, he still has a little bit of a ways to go, but under the tutelage of someone like Nunzio, it's probably going to be pretty darn good. Now the finish happens with something interesting. As Myron Reed goes in, attacks Little Nunzio at ringside. That distracts the rest of the FBI to get hit with a very interesting combination of moves. A spinebuster, super kick, double stomp with your winners, the Rascals. And they're all just kind of hanging out. We then get part 2 of the main roster interviewers for the main event. Then we get something very, very interesting. A nice little vignette of Crazy Steve leading a therapy session. And he points to Jonathan Gresham, who we haven't seen in like at least a couple of months. With Gresham pretty much saying, look, I'm feeling better than last time. But to be honest, it's better than leaving my mask on. And coming soon, I'm going to take it off and prove that I'm not living a lie. So, Gresham and Crazy Steve, that's going to be an interesting pairing. I wonder who else we're going to see in the depraved world of Crazy Steve. Then we go to a Speedball Mountain interview. That's Speedball Mike Bailey and Trent Seven. With Trent pretty much saying, look, we all know why Eddie Edwards won last week. It was the numbers game. And that's how the system works. And speaking of the system come in, with them pretty much saying, look, the reason you haven't been champ yet is you don't know how to be a champ. And then Trent turns to Moose, who's saying, don't make me take you next. With Moose coming up forward saying, you don't deserve this yet. Trent replies, well, maybe not, but next week I could still knock you out and earn a shot. So, next week we're getting Trent Seven versus Moose. Yes, please. That's going to be an awesome little matchup. Speaking of an awesome little matchup, we got Chris Bay taking on Frankie Kazarian. And I think this is going to be my favorite match of the week. A lot of really, really good back and forth. Very little interference from Ace Austin. Although we'll get to that. Near the end, Bay goes for the Art of Finesse. That gets caught. Both guys go to the outside. Kaz puts Chris Bay into the ring post. And then he goes under the ring, grabs a chain, wraps it around his hand. Looks like he's about to, punch Chris Bay with it. And then Ace Austin grabs his hand, takes the chain off. And then Kaz pulling in Eddie Guerrero and just flopping. So obviously the ref sees that. He thinks, Ace attacked Frankie Kazarian. So Ace gets ejected from ringside. Fight continues while Kaz and Bay were getting in the ring. Kaz with a low blow, a fade to black, with your winner, Frankie Kazarian. This was a very awesome matchup. I'm wondering where this is going to go, because we've not only got the dissension in the ranks with the ABC, but you also got Frankie Kazarian picking up some pretty significant wins. I'm pretty excited for it. We then get an in-Russian promo from Masha Slamovich. I'm sorry if I maybe offend some people. I don't speak Russian, so I don't really know what she was saying. But then in comes someone very interesting, and that's Alicia Edwards. And she's pretty much saying, look, you obviously got your rematch for the tag team titles coming up, and with Killer Kelly not here right now, you obviously need a partner, and I need a title to bring back to the system. Masha kind of glares at Alicia Edwards, and Alicia's then like, oh, okay, look, you don't have to answer me right now. Take your time. Think about it. We then get the last, roster interviews for the main event. We then get a Khan promo. Pretty much saying, look, two superhumans are going to war. People will feel our pain. Warriors cry. Monsters scream. It'll be talked about for years to come. Welcome to Monsters Ball. So a nice, easy little promo from Khan. And that was pretty hype. I'm not going to lie. We then get this very interesting little matchup as it's Xia Brookside taking on Ash by Elegance. And this was the most competitive Ash has been ever here in TNA. And yeah, Xia brought it. Xia brought out a really entertaining matchup from Ash. I wouldn't say it was really that great, but I was pretty entertained. At one point, you had Xia Brookside on the outside. Ash going for a baseball slide, missing, doing a handstand on the apron into like a cutter move to the outside, which that was impressive. They get back in, they trade blows. Then as it looks like Xia is about to pick up the win, Ash tosses Xia kind of to the outside, and she runs right into a champagne. Not glass, but just the champagne itself from Ash's concierge, in which Ash, gets in the roll-up for the sneaky win. I kind of dig this. It's about time we get the concierge in on these matches to, play the heel manager. We then get the ABC backstage with Ace pretty much saying, look, I'm sorry that went down like it did, but now we can obviously get our focus back on the tag titles. Bay then retorts, look, you obviously haven't been listening to me. I'm still focused on the tag titles, but I want to venture out a little bit more. Then Ace is like, oh, for sure. But it was obvious that picking a fight with Frankie Kazarian was not in our best interest. And they're kind of going back and forth a little bit. Then in walks AJ Francis and Rich Swann, with Swann pretty much asking Bay if he's ever flown first class before. With Bay replying, of course I've flown first class. I've done it here with my partner Ace Austin all over the globe. And we've obviously won titles, something you have yet to do in your career. So how about this? Next week, you put your money where your mouth is, and we have a 2-on-2. Then AJ Francis retorts, you're going to regret that decision. Then we go to a backstage interview with Steph De Lander and Matt Cardona. Pretty much with Cardona saying, look, you thought Steph De Lander needed my help. We're here in TNA for 3 reasons. Buzz, money, and gold. And considering I've already won gold here in TNA, I'm here to help out Steph De Lander. Then Steph gets her turn. Last week I beat 7 other women. I'm going to get Jordynne Grace at Rebellion. And TNA is back, and so are we. So I'm definitely glad to see these two back in action for TNA. They've been killing it elsewhere. Glad they're at least here for a limited time. And Find Alamo, our main event for the evening. And it's a big one. It's Alex Shelley taking on Nick Nemeth. And this was a war. They threw pretty much everything at each other. Drop kicks, famoussers, Border City stretches. They even hit each other with a couple of super kicks. But end of the day, Alex Shelley goes for a super kick. That gets blocked. Trying for a sliced bread, but that gets blocked as well. Super kick from Nemeth, only for a 2 count. Shelley going for a shell shock, that gets blocked. Nemeth going for a danger zone, that also gets blocked. Shelley with a roll up, only for a 2. Super kick by Shelley, shell shock, blocked. Danger zone, your winner, Nick Nemeth. And boy oh boy, if you're going to watch one show, or at least one match before WrestleMania, I think that's the one you gotta watch. This was excellent. Both guys worked really, really well together. And it gets me hyped to see what's going on in the future. So, yeah, that'll do it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed. Coming up this week, obviously, is WrestleMania. I'm going to try to get my review up for Monday. If not, I'm probably might do SmackDown and Rampage on Monday. Maybe Collision, but that's well past midnight. So we'll see about that. Overall, very fun week of wrestling. But now we go to the big time, as it's WrestleMania, baby. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait. Hope you all are excited as I am. And until next time, happy wrestling, everybody. Peace.